This story is true, or mostly true. Names have been changed to protect the innocent, and locations have been altered to confuse anyone who thinks they remember every detail. If you grew up in a small Icelandic fishing village, let's call this one Steinvik, you already recognize the archetypes. The environment here enforces a specific psychological baseline. It is isolated, freezing, and entirely indifferent to human presence. In this town, life follows a rigid three-path structure. Men go to sea, they go into computers, or they go into ruin. Occasionally, they manage all three. The community's foundational trauma occurred in 1973, when the Sjóstjarnan sank, leaving 21 children fatherless. The town responded with a characteristic, absolute silence that would last for decades. Instead of fleeing the water that took their fathers, these sons systematically returned to it. As soon as they were old enough, they put on traditional waterproof gear and took their places on the same ships. In Steinvik, trauma is not processed through emotional displays. It is absorbed into deadpan silence and the steady, mundane rhythm of work. The first 3 completed episodes of this series serve as a study in contrasting extreme life-and-death stakes with entirely flat, mundane reactions. When a deckhand is crippled by seasickness, the only response from the captain is a nod and an instruction to eat more. The tension comes from the silence that follows. The production follows a strict narrative code. Sentences are kept short, the humor is bone dry, and emotional manipulation is strictly forbidden. The engine treats survival as a clerical task and treats ordinary life as something alien. This approach shifts the thriller elements away from external violence and onto the psychological tension of characters who have completely normalized the bizarre. The source material is Book Lysins, the Book of Life. It began as a massive, unstructured PDF dump containing shipwrecks, family records, and ADHD diagnoses. Raw text lacks the relational structure needed for a film pipeline. Without defined links between characters, locations, and dialogue, the data remains functionally inert. To solve this, the project uses a Memory Context Protocol, or MCP. This is a technical framework that acts as a centralized brain, allowing the AI to query the family history as a structured database. This diagram shows the algorithm in action. It ingests the raw PDF, fracturing text into 4 distinct nodes: people, stories, timeline, and patterns. The system uses these to build a scene graph, an interconnected data map automatically linking family members to specific tragedies. By treating family history as a relational database, the creators engineered a way to output objective nostalgia, free from the clouding effects of personal sentiment. Once the data is structured, it moves to the final stage, the script engine. The engine generates 2 outputs. The book script manages internal reflections and thoughts, while the movie script reduces everything to visual action and sparse dialogue. This data is then rendered in the Disney app, a presentation layer that displays the final pages and locations alongside a karaoke-style narration for the user. The system functions as an automated psychological filter, applying algorithmic precision to ensure the real-life events maintain the series' distinctive, Fargo-esque tone. While the first 3 episodes are finished, 7 more remain in production, representing a massive shift in the family's historical timeline. The conflict shifts from the physical dangers of the sea to the emerging world of computers. This transition is represented by early CRT monitors, the bulky glass screen displays of the 1980s, and the abstract concept of cloud desktops. The psychological themes evolve from the early childhood survival of trust versus mistrust into the modern complexities of industry versus inferiority. The irony of the timeline is clear. The son ends up using the safety of digital systems to process the very real physical environments that claimed the lives of his ancestors. The final 7 episodes attempt to show that the structural distance provided by mapping one's own history is a necessary tool for anyone trying to exit a generational loop. The raw data for the final episodes currently sits in the system, waiting for the engine to render the remaining tragedies. Building a game about a real-world system reveals its brutal mechanics more effectively than reading 100 articles on the subject. In this universe, stories do not get emotional closure. Reality just happens, like this car buried in volcanic ash, while men stand casually nearby, and then it stops. The machine will finish rendering the remaining lives once the next batch insert is